Hello everyone, I'm Ezekiel from OQP Community Network. For those who don't know OQP Community Network, we are simply a group of people who have decided to come together to learn, to study together, especially from the books. But on top of that, we do discussions online, we do some interviews like the one I will be doing today, and we have several stuff which we do together, and the main task being to improve the mindset, the attitudes of our people, from the ones which we think does not work for us to the one which can work for us. I mean, to improve our self-awareness, self-understanding, but also the financial literacy, so that we can improve our lives. And you all know that our situation is not as good as we all want it to be. And today I'll be having Thomas. He will have more time to introduce himself. We will be talking on sales, and the good thing is this week we have started, as members of the OQP Community Network, we have started reading the book on the psychology of selling, which is written by Brian Tracy. And wonderfully enough, last week I met with Thomas, and on our talk I realized he's an expert in sales, and today he has something to share with us so as to motivate us, to tell us why sales is important, why understanding of selling is really important in our lives. And so I don't want to waste any more time of you. Please, Thomas, welcome.
Thank you.
I think we can go straight. Would you mind telling us who are you, and what are you doing now?
I am Thomas Landsem. I'm from Norway. I live in Finland, and I work as a sales manager for a Finnish startup company that are going global now.
Okay, so you said you're working as a sales manager.
Yes.
So for how long, or maybe I should start with how come did you reach that position of a sales manager? I know sales is one of the very difficult tasks. I think any business will understand.
Yes, it's very difficult, and I have been working in and with sales and customers and customer service for more than 10 years now. Mm-hmm. And through those years I've gained experience and knowledge and competence in the field of sales and humans. Sales is humans.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, and yes, I remember you mentioned you work in the this company JoyHaptics. So how did you end up in Mikkeli in Finland?
In high school I came to Finland as an exchange student to Helsinki, to a Swedish language high school. Finland is bilingual, so they have Finnish and Swedish as their official languages. And well, by the time I moved back to Norway, I had gotten to know a girl, and as soon as I finished or graduated high school in Norway, we got married, and I moved back to Finland and then to Mikkeli, which is her hometown.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
It's a love story.
Yes, it's a love story.
Yeah, so how did you start your sales? Did you start sales here in Finland, or you already started in Norway?
My first sales position, or actually I would say that was my first sales position, but I started working as a freelance journalist for the local community paper in my hometown or home village in Norway. And that was working with humans, asking questions and getting the stories. So that's my first touch with sales.
Okay.
Like in real life, and after that I've been working on like call centers, working different door-to-door jobs, and also been working in B2B sales.
Okay, and did you just land on this job, or you planned it some days ago?
No, it's never planned. Like I was 15 when I started as a freelance journalist. Wow. And I have never been like very clever with mathematics and physics and chemistry or anything. like that. I'm not like clever in school, so I have like had to stake out my course in life by talking and by going for my strength as a strong social course person.
Well, then I think by not being that clever in class, you join the list of many great people. Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, all have the same story. They were never so great in class until when they got in the street, then it was a boom for them.
Yeah.
So I think good for you.
Yes.
Okay, so let's now talk about sales. How do you understand, or what can you say about sales? What is it?
Sales is the ability to handle people. Either if you're selling them something or you're just conversating with them, having an argument, you disagree on something, or you just want to persuade your friend to do something. Doesn't matter, like sales is a skill that is very important in handling people or human.
Wow, that's a strange definition. I think it's the first time I find that definition from you, because from what I know, from what I've heard from people, sales is about making sure you sell the product to people. So the moment you meet them, you have to make sure they buy your product.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's strange to hear that it's about dealing with people. So maybe if you can explain more. For example, now you have a product and you want me to get it. So how does dealing with me work on you selling me the product?
Sales is a skill that you need in life all overall, but when you're a salesperson, you have a product or service to sell to another human being. You're going to meet a lot of prospects and a lot of potential customers, and you'll never know who is your potential customer before you meet him or her. Mm-hmm. And I believe strongly in that not everybody is going to buy your product, so your main task as a salesman is to help a person make a decision, either if it's no or yes. If a salesperson get maybe or I'll think about it, that's just gonna put a lot of workload on the salesperson for future, because you have to follow up on that prospect and that customer. If he says that no, okay, you don't make any money, you don't make any sales, but still you can focus on new leads and new prospects then. So I think that the main purpose of a salesman is to use sales techniques to help the person make a decision. If there's any use for the product and benefit for the customer to buy the product or service, of course you're gonna do all you can to try to make him to buy the product.
Yes, I really love your explanations, and more importantly, you have mentioned the benefits, that the product you have to sell, it has to be useful for the customer, yes. And he has to be the one deciding yes or no, so you help him reach there.
Yes. And
I think it's one of the misconceptions that we have had. I've seen some people, where I come from, when they see a salesman coming from a particular direction, they have to run, because they know he's always very aggressive. He would force you to take the thing you never intended. So thank you for that. Now the same sales, do you think this is important in life apart from business?
Yes.
How so?
Sales, for me, sales has been a path to get to know myself better on a personal basis. I understand more about my personality and my own behavior, which make it much more easier to interact socially with also difficult people. It helps me also understand difficult people when I meet them and how to handle them.
Mm-hmm. That's really great. How about for example, in your family communication? Does that also take part?
Of course, like you're talking to the kids, and the kids doesn't always see eye to eye on everything with their parents, and the skill of selling is very important on like how to handle the kids. Are they happy with the decision or not. Like you can persuade a kid to go with your decision and still make him or her believe that that's the best decision to make, even though they originally didn't want to make that decision.
Yes, and I agree with you on this point because I think in some of the families, the parent would always force, because of course maybe he knows better than the children. So what he does is he does not find any time to discuss or to negotiate with the children, but instead he has to enforce the decision. And I think in some reason it also enlarges the gap between the two generations. And I think understanding of sales means you have to find the best way to explain an idea to your child or to your spouse.
Yes.
And it really works good.
Like you're never gonna force any customer to buy your product. You can help the customer make a decision. You can help the customer realize that he has a need for it. You can force them, and well, you can force your kid to make a decision, but it's not necessarily gonna be a happy one or a good memory.
I see. Yes. So I have seen also in some companies that sales has become a department which is not that valuable, especially where I come from, Tanzania. Always, you talk about sales, you will talk about many young people who are grouped together and they are sent to the road, most of the time not dressing really well, which in some ways you directly conclude that the sale is never important. I never liked sales while looking at those kids getting into the road. So whenever somebody tells me, maybe would you want to join us in sales, then I would think twice. Or even at some point, my life got really hard, so I tried to contact one of our neighbors. He was the boss in one company, and then there was a sales position. Immediately after I told him I need a job, so he told me the position available in sales, but are you sure you can handle that? So he gave me some threatening sentences to make sure I back away, and I backed away. So this means that sales is not really important in the eyes of many. So, but how can you tell? How is sales important in business and stuff like that?
Without sales, you don't have any business. That's just the rule. If you don't sell anything, you don't get money. You don't have any business. And the problems you point out there, depending on the country and the culture and the society, there are some different nuances to the way people look at sales and salespersons. But sales has a bad reputation for many due to like many things. You have these slippery, greasy salespersons that will always just go with a dollar sign in their eyes. And that's the kind of salesperson species that make a bad reputation for the sales profession in the eyes of the others. And also, but then yet again, sales has also a bad reputation as a profession for many that has tried it, because they either go into a company that cannot provide them with the right kind of education, coaching to gain competence in sales as a profession. They are not enabled to learn how to sell and be proud salespeople, and that has given like sales a bad reputation. But there is possible to find companies where you can really learn what sales is and how to do it right, and how to do it honestly with pride. And that's what I'm all about. So it's yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that. Now, can you tell us some of the misconception now on sales. Now let's talk about like the way to do sales. There has been several misconceptions. People have been doing some sales wrong in the wrong way. You have mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you mention a few and tell us what maybe how would you do it better, or how do you do better?
To make a sale, sell something to a customer and make him buy, you need two things. You need their trust, and you need their feelings. They have to trust you, and they have to feel that you're a good person. This is secure to buy from him. And when you gain the trust and their feelings, then you gain the customer. It's way easier to sell a shitty product to a high price to a person that trusts you and has good feelings about you.
Yes.
Than to sell a high quality product for a low price to a person that distrusts you and has no good feelings for you. So that's the like, you have to find a way to get into their heart for real. And sales, you have to do it with your heart. You have to actually care about and believe in the product, the service you're selling. You have to believe that you're making a difference for this customer and their lives. And that applies to B2B and B2C. It's like B2C, many people or many gurus want to divide B2B, B2C as total different sales fields. But they forget that in the B2C market you have people you're selling to.
Yes.
But in the B2B market, who are buying from you? Do the business buy anything? The company. Do the company name buy anything?
Oh, of course.
There's always a person
there.
Yes,
also. Always is a person.
It's a person.
Now
so
I get your point. Yes.
The same rules apply.
Yeah. So it's not like a machine is coming to buy your product.
Yes.
It's somebody.
Yeah. There's always somebody.
Yes.
There's always a person on the other end.
Yes, I
buying.
agree.
So it's all about gaining their trust and their feelings.
Yes, your point is really strong. It's really strong, and I think yes, that's one of the major misconceptions that we have at the moment, because normally the salespeople are trying to focus on their product and not on the customers. So all they can do is to maybe mostly disturb you. They would call you, they would follow you where you want to go. So in the end of the day, when you see a salesperson, you want to run away from them, and I think that's a really bad experience, and it happens in many places. But as you said, if we establish trust, so
yes,
it becomes really important. Yes.
I have made my biggest deals throughout my career as a salesperson when the meeting with the customer has gone like I've been talking 10 to 15 minutes about product or service that I'm selling. And for maybe 1 or 2 hours, I've been talking or using the time getting to know the customer, and the customer is getting to know me. That's how important the human connection and the trust and the feelings are.
Wow. Some really good stuff. All right, so I've read this book, which I just mentioned, Psychology of Selling, which is written by Brian Tracy. And in there, Brian Tracy is mentioning something about taking control of a conversation while selling your products. And he mentions that you have to be asking questions and not talking. But if you talk, then you'll be the one on spot, and customers to be on spot. So how can you comment about that, about the control thing and the question and explanations?
Yes, it's like now I have to back up a little bit, because sales, that's kind of like a sport. You have a world's best soccer player. He has his specific move that he makes and always scores. How many times do you think he has practiced that specific move? 1 million times, 2 million times? He practices all the time. And every time he scores, he goes back the next day and he practices it over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same with sales. You have to practice until it fits, and then you have to practice yet again, over and over again. Never stop practicing your skills as a salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sport, and when it comes to that, like, you have to be in charge and in lead of the conversation and of the meeting with the customer. Or it could be in social life. You want to take control over the conversation because it's going a bad direction in your opinion, or you don't like the way it's going. Doesn't matter if you're selling something or just conversating with someone. That's a skill that you have to really develop and practice, because then we're talking about a skill that I would translate into English as the game eye, the eye of game. You have to see what's going on around you, and you have to really like be able to fast analyze the situation and see if it's going the right direction or the wrong direction, and you have to know for an instant, like, how are you gonna push it further away in the right direction, or change the direction to the right direction. And that's very important, that you are in charge, but yet again, then it comes to what kind of relationship you have established with your customer. Because being in charge of a conversation, you might lose your charge, but gaining the charge again, that might be very difficult. But then you have to have a like early on, within the first 15 to 20 minutes of the conversation, you have to establish a good relationship with the customer, and you have to establish your authority, so that if it goes in the wrong direction, you can actually say, hey, that's a very good thing, but let's focus here. Like, you can actually be that direct with the customer, but you need to have the trust and the feelings of the customer to do that. Either if you don't have the trust of the customer, you're gonna come off as the slippery, unhonest salesperson. But when you're good friends and you do that, it's not a problem.
Wow, wonderful. So if you remember last week when we talked, you mentioned about this. You have this 3 minutes of waiting after talking to the customer to make him decide. But most of the salespeople, they would not let that slide easy. Like, you give a customer time to think. So whenever there is a silence, he would talk very, very much, where to fill with additional information. So how this 3 minutes? Can you tell us now again and tell us how does it really work for you?
So you're going through your sales meeting with the customer, and you have proposed the sale. You're asking for him to buy from you. It depends on what kind of product or service, on what way you're going to ask for that sale. But let's say you have asked for his signature. Like, here's the package, here's the price, we're going to deliver on that time. The only thing we need is your signature here. After you have said that, you have to be quiet. The first one that is talking is the loser.
Okay.
And the reason why it's very important to stay quiet is because if there is more than 20 seconds of silence, most salespersons will become anxious.
That's
and
true.
They're gonna now we're losing the customer. We're losing him.
Yes.
Nothing is happening. Why isn't he talking? And then they started, and I forgot to mention this. And, well, mostly that's not a question that the customer has asked, so ergo it's not important to the customers. He doesn't need to know it. He might ask it later on, but he still haven't asked. It's like number one rule for like throughout the sales meeting, never answer questions that is not asked.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. So if you're selling a blue car, sell the blue car. When he asks what kind of tires it is, then you tell what tires it has. So it's like very important to not fill up the conversation with empty talk. And when you have asked for a sale and there's this silence period of time, and the salesperson started saying that, oh, I forgot to mention this aspect. He might interrupt the chain of thoughts in the customer's head. The customers might be right at the time thinking, should I buy, should I not, should I buy? Well, I would like, but is it the right time? Well, it feels like the right time, but yet again. And if you interrupt that chain of thought, it's much easier to
reject,
not
yes.
be buying, because then you continue in the same lane that you always continued.
Yes, I see.
Until now, without that product or service. But he, so it's like the longest period of time I have been silence for is about 20 minutes.
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
That seems like forever. So
that's
how
awkward.
How do you manage that?
It's awkward, but I was like on my laptop reading newspapers and just filling my time with that kind of stuff.
Oh,
but
that's
when
like giving to a customer to let him think.
Let him think.
Okay.
And when the customer opened his mouth, he had a question. The question was something about the delivery.
Okay, so
and I said,
so now he's now confirming his desires, like
yes,
he's satisfying himself.
Yes, he's trying to persuade himself to buy this, and trying to explain himself why he should buy this. So I answered his question about this delivery time, and again, all I need is your signature. Reminded him about that. He said, yeah, that's fine.
Wow, that's fine. Then that confirms that talk. Abraham Trace said that it's like, I don't remember exactly the talk, but it's like he said the sales are done in talking, but the buying is done in quiet. Now I understand the essence of this. So let's go to personal appearance or personality. Some people, they want to be seen as, as who they are, because they don't want to be justified according to what they are not. But at the same time, I've read several books, including the what was this book now? I don't remember its name. It's like no, I don't remember. But in the point there, they mentioned that it's really important to make sure that you appear the best. You have to wear a suit even if you're not rich. You have to, I don't know, cut your hair or stuff like that. So can really sales also depend on how you look, or it's only a matter of establishing the link with the customer?
Of course, if you look like you live on a street, it's kind of hard gaining people's trust. But well, I'm working as a sales manager, and this is what I'm bringing to work. Depending on the customer, I could wear this meeting the customers too.
Okay.
No problem. I don't believe that I don't believe in the outer picture of you. Like I believe like what you can deliver and what qualities you have as a human is more important.
Okay.
And in sales, it's like confidence is everything. You should not be cocky. and you should not be proud over other human beings.
Yes.
But confidence, you have to have like a healthy amount of confidence, and you have to also have a healthy amount of confidence of your own skills. But you should also know your sales skills, so you always develop. You should know your weaknesses and strengths, and sales is actually like, you can define sales in many ways, and one way of defining sales is actually being human to other human beings, meeting humans as humans, and treating humans as humans.
That's everyone.
And doing sales, I have met a lot of different kind of people, and my clothes has never been any problem. Of course, not dirty clothes. It should be clean.
Yes.
And you should be representative. You don't need to have a suit and a tie to do a sale. And I have never been afraid of calling to people high up. Like, been working in B2B sales, talking to some of Finland's biggest, most respected businessmen, and one of them said to me, "Wow, that's refreshing. You're the first salesperson calling me for the last year."
Okay.
Because many
Okay.
many believe that they are kind of like overhumans, like
Yes.
they don't dare to try. But I believe that behind every success, every story, behind every car, every suit, there's always a human being.
Wow, that's a very strong statement, and I think it also guides the human value, because if you understand there is a human being behind those items you have mentioned, then you will also treat them and in a human-like way.
Yes.
Which is really important.
And it doesn't matter if he has a car that costs 100 euros or a car that costs 100,000 euros. It's still a human. And you should always treat the less buying customer as important as the most buying customer, because you will be valued on how you treat your like less important customers for the bottom line, because it's a lot more of that less buying customers than the customers that buy a lot.
Wow, that's really great. Yeah, so maybe on finalizing, I mentioned to you that we have this like a WhatsApp group, a platform where we have a number of people from different backgrounds, and we have been reading the books together from time to time. So this time, for example, we have started reading this book, Psychology of Selling, from yesterday, and I think we might go for about a month or so, then we will pick another book. And so now, as we are reading this book, we are from different backgrounds. There are some medical doctors, there are some engineers, we have some people who are not employed. So is there any words of motivation you can tell us on this sales topic specifically?
It doesn't matter what kind of background you have or what your profession is or what you will do in the future. Sales is a very important skill to know. Either if you're unemployed and you're going to interview, you're going to sell yourself, or you're a doctor giving a patient his results that he got cancer. It's very important to know how to handle people. It's a very important skill, and it's a skill that too many people lack today. But as motivation, I can only say, like, for me, there has been a very specific kind of exercise that have helped me develop myself as a salesperson. But also, like, sales is one of the hardest professions in the world.
I agree.
You will meet a lot of negativity.
Yes.
And it will be very hard periods of time being a salesperson, because you will meet cruel people. You will meet a lot of nice, warm people, but you will meet some cruel people too.
Mm-hmm.
And that makes everything very difficult. And let's say it might be very difficult to wake up one morning and go to work because you had a bad day at work yesterday. Or it might be hard picking up the book in the night, in the evening before you go to bed. Continue reading because it was a little bit boring reading the last chapter.
Mm-hmm.
You always need to motivate yourself. And one exercise I have used a lot is the exercise of the conscious and unconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
The conscious mind is like my brain is telling my hand to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I am planning that after this meeting I'm going to continue some work and then I'm going to go for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
That's my conscious mind like making plans.
Mm-hmm.
But my subconscious mind is the mind that actually affects my overall life and how I do stuff. That's my prejudgments. That's my beliefs. That's my experience. That's my muscle memory. It's all that has formed me to what I am today and the opinions I have today. And the only way to it's the subconscious mind that makes it hard to continue doing something new because you're not used to do it. And you can train your subconscious mind by using your conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a different kind of exercises to do that. One is writing down what you want to do. When you write it down, you will have it getting through the sense of touch,
Mm-hmm.
but also the sense of sight.
Yes.
And then you go in front of the mirror and you're repeating this stuff, and you will see your mouth moving. You will
Mm-hmm.
hear your own voice telling you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a study for how long you should repeat these kind of exercises before your subconscious mind actually has changed to a new pattern in the way of your behavior you want to change.
Mm-hmm.
There was a study, 60 people got some special glasses that turned the world upside down.
Mm-hmm.
They saw everything upside down. First, it was very hard for them to walk or do anything normal.
Yes.
Of course, everything was upside down.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you that after 30 days, almost half could drive a car
Wow.
in the traffic.
Upside down.
No problem. After 60 days, everybody could drive a car.
Wow.
So it's 30 to 60 days, 1 to 2 months makes to change the pattern of your subconscious mind. And it can be like a belief or a prejudgment that you have. It can be that you believe that you can't do anything, or doesn't matter. But if you are a lack of motivation, or you want to change something about your life that are easily changeable, but it's hard to commit to,
Mm-hmm.
I will always grab onto that technique.
Wow. Thank you so very much. I think it was really a wonderful interview.
Thank you.
We have learned a lot from you.
Yes.
Yes, I would really love to appreciate for your time, and I hope this will be our first time, not the last. So perhaps we will find more time to talk. I also really want to thank the man behind the camera, Mr. Francis Boafo. But more importantly, I would like to really appreciate for you who's following this up. And I would like to remind you again that it's really, really important that you get to inform, to learn about other stuff. Leslie Brown says it's hard to look about how to tell about the picture if you are inside of that picture yourself. But it's until when you get out of that picture, get out of that box, that you can start to tell about the picture, to comment about the picture. And when it comes to even to many people, when you tell them that do you have the right mindset, nobody will tell you that I don't have any wrong mindset or something like that. But it's until when you start to get more information from outside, and that's how you step out of the box. You listen to more people, you learn from more sources, from books, from the internet, and then you can be in a better position. So thank you for following up, for learning more from us, learning more from books, and I encourage you to keep on. And on top of that, I really love to take this also opportunity to thank all brothers and sisters who decided to take initiative to contact me, to comment on my videos, to comment on my performance, and to even suggest some of the improvement. My brother Prince Bauer, my brother Francis, also Raymond, and many other people. I apologize because most of my videos I do in Swahili, and some of you contacted me telling me I should at least add the subtitles. I'm working on that, I promise.